Alright, welcome back. Last time where we left off, there had just been a civilization that had founded Hinduism, had come up with the idea of polytheism. Um Hinduism is what we would call a polytheistic religion, as say has many different gods people believe in, as opposed to just one god, as you might find in Judeo-Christian belief. You know, there are various religions in this game that get discovered at various points. Usually, Judaism gets discovered around 1000 BC. Buddhism 500 BC or so. Same thing with Confucianism, about 500 BC. And then you get the later religions, Christianity, and then the last one, Islam. And these religions have a number of effects on your civilization in this game. They promote cultural spread of the religions, spread of your cultural influence as a civilization. Your citizens will become happier if you adopt their religion as the state religion that your government officially favors. Your Hindu subjects will be happy if you make Hindu your state religion, but the for example, Jewish citizens will not be happy. They'll feel discriminated against. Later on in the game, you can come up with the novel idea of having a secular state that doesn't have a state religion, or you can just let people practice religion on their own, as basically folk religions, not trying to organize them or regulate them in any way. That's another way you can go about it. But if you want a state religion, you really either need to change your government over to organized religions, theocracy, which is a very hardline sort of way of running your society religiously, where religious law is the law of the land, basically, and the religious authorities also double as the legal authorities. Then you have monasticism. That basically means a religion that, and a government that promotes sort of monastic study of and meditation. Basically promotes monasteries, and people withdrawing from worldly pursuits to go into monasteries and pray and ponder the universe. And then there's secularism, like I mentioned. All these have various benefits and trade-offs as modeled in the game here. But yeah, so this thing here, I should mention a little bit about this. This is what's called a technology tree. Alright, and the idea behind this is it's basically a diagram that tries to explain all in one fell swoop the whole technological progression of human history. It's very ambitious, and of course it has to make some simplifications in some cases, but I think if you were looking to boil down technological progress, the history of technology all in one fell swoop, this wouldn't be a bad place to start. And the idea behind this technology tree is the basic assumption that that there's a logical progression to technological development, that you need to have certain things before you can move on. So for example, to get computers, to invent computers, you kind of need materials science. You need semiconducting materials, transistors, things like that. You need some experience with electronics. You need certainly to know how electricity works, right? You can't just jump from suddenly learning how to make pottery to suddenly building computers, or building stealth bombers. There's a lot of steps in between that you need to master, obviously, before you can get to something like computers, for example. And so this tries to show a logical progression each step of the way of how humanity has progressed technologically. Where we start out with basically hunting and gathering. During the Neolithic era, we 10,000 to 4,000 BC. Some parts of the world discovered agriculture, figured out how to domesticate and harvest plants, how to domesticate animals, fishing nets, boats, things like that, mining. This is all kind of in the the Neolithic, some of it in the Paleolithic, but more so the Neolithic era. Mysticism, basic religious mystical rituals, and like I said, animistic beliefs. Ideas that the world was governed by sort of spirits, or animated by different spiritual forces. Kind of led into the idea of anthropomorphizing them, that is to say, assigning human personalities to these mystical forces. Which kind of led into polytheism. So you got the Neolithic here. You've got kind of the ancient period. Here we got the development of the wheel, probably around 2000 BC. You've got archery. You've got priesthood. The idea of setting up an elite that doesn't actually work the land, but spends all their time thinking about religious matters and basically interpreting the supernatural realm and the will of the gods for everyone else. Ancient Sumeria had the idea of priesthood as early as 4,000 to 3,000 BC, really. So you would kind of get the ancient period. You've got learning how to put just rocky ores on top of a flame, and to melt the better sturdier metallic materials out, such as copper. Smelting. Later on, iron. Learning how to work with iron. Learning how to cast metal into shapes. And then here we've got, if we go back up to this part of the tree, got the invention of writing, which we could trace back to the earliest, ancient Sumeria, about 4,000 BC, 3,800 BC or so. And where did the idea for writing come from? Well, the earliest writing was involved with writing down basically property transactions. Writing was originally an accounting method of, tracking who sold what to whom. That's the first sort of stuff that people wrote about, because it was kind of the most pressing, important matter in their lives, was keeping track of their property and who owed what to whom and how much this or that cost. So that's symbolized by showing that pottery could lead to writing. Well, first of all, you need something to write on. So, for example, in ancient Sumeria, their form of writing, which was known as cuneiform, was written on dried pottery, basically, with little wedges that they would push into the wet clay before it dried. And also, pottery allows you to store goods, so it allows you to accumulate, property and food, which then you want to keep track of with writing. Also, writing might come about because people have property in the form of animals that they want to keep track of. And writing might come about because maybe there's a priesthood that wants to keep track of their property, and also, write down religious matters. So all these things historically in various times and places led to the development of writing. And then from writing you can start thinking about mathematics. Once you can write things down, you can start working out mathematics. You can design a calendar. Once you have a little bit of mathematics and observation of the heavens, so you can plan your seasonal planting and other activities, right? Once you have writing, you can write literature, great histories of your civilization. You can build libraries.